Hi, this is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and you're watching SyFy Autograph Hunters.
Hey there everyone, Nabil and Logan here, and of course you guys know us as the SyFy Autograph Hunters. Today we have the great honor and pleasure of interviewing Batman himself, Kevin Conroy. How are you doing today?
Good to be here, doing fine.
Thank you for coming to Florida, we appreciate it.
No, I had a good time.
We really did. Awesome. Okay, so we're basically going to go down different, stuff that you've worked on. So our first question is, you've played Batman for over 10 years now. Throughout the time, how has your career changed? What kind of benefits have you been able to get out of playing the one character?
Well, it's actually been over 20 years.
Wow. Okay.
Believe it or not. I started recording it in '91, and it went on the air in '92. So it's been 22 years of recording. And what's interesting is, when you start a job like this, you never know how long it's going to go. And so no one knew it was going to have the life that it's had. And also, when I started doing it, it was the first animated character that I had done. Which so it was like, hitting the lottery, in terms of animated shows. And, the first show was Batman the Animated Series.
Right.
Then they did, 4 years of that or whatever it was, and then they decided that was over. And they said, oh, well, let's do another one. We'll do it Batman and Robin, just to keep the story going. So then they did, 3 or 4 years of that, and then they said, well, we want to keep the story going longer. Let's do the Justice League. And then they said, well, let's do Batman Beyond, because, they just kept thinking of new ways to bring life to it to keep the story going. So, 22 years, and now it's games, Arkham and Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. So it's always evolved into something new. I had no idea it was going to become, what it did.
Yeah. In
terms of how it's affected me, an interesting thing that's evolved is no one knew who the voices of animated characters were.
Right.
When we were growing up, or when I was growing up. No one knew who Yogi Bear was, or the Jetsons were, and no one knew who the voices were.
Yeah.
But because of the internet now, and the access of information, everybody knows everything. And I get stopped all the time. People actually recognize me and they go, you're Batman. And I'll be like, how do you know that? And they go, oh, everybody knows who's Batman. And I think, no, everybody doesn't know who's Batman. And then sometimes, just flying down to Texas, the TSA guy at the airport, he's looking at my passport, he goes, Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy. You're not that Kevin Conroy, are you? I said, Batman? He said, oh my God, it's Batman! And I thought, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I love that. It's fun. It's a great perk, but it's not something I ever expected to come out of this job. And it didn't for the first 10 years. Really? It wasn't until people really got on Twitter and Facebook and started using the internet that they started realizing how much information is there.
Wow. That's awesome. Okay. You've voiced Bruce Wayne / Batman in many TV shows and animated movies, but on a personal note for you, when did you think you were pushed to the limit acting-wise in order to bring the best qualities of the character?
Wow. I think being pushed to the limit happened which is in my favorite show, was in an episode called Perchance to Dream,
right?
Which I've mentioned before. It's where Batman is drugged and he goes back into his childhood. So not only was I Batman and Bruce Wayne, I was also young Bruce Wayne, and then I was also Batman drugged.
Right.
And then in his dream state, he goes back to his youth and he encounters his father. He relives moments from his childhood. So they had me play Bruce Sr. So I was doing 5 voices in that one episode, and so in terms of challenging, that was really challenging to do 5 distinct voices, but having them be believably related, but distinct.
Right.
And then also, take the drama of the show to have it, to really play the scenes. I had a great time doing that show. But so many of them have been interesting. There's been so much good writing on this show. The movies have been particularly interesting, like Sub-Zero and Mask of the Phantasm. Both of those I really enjoyed doing, and were challenging.
Right. Well, I thought your most difficult part, probably, in my eyes, I thought would be voicing older Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond. 'Cause your voice, you were
I know.
a person.
Well, in terms of vocally stretching, that was the biggest vocal stretch. But, and actually, I guess in a way you might be right, because when you go that deep and that gravelly and that aged, it gets very hard to do emotional coloring because you're so trapped down there.
Yeah.
So in terms of vocal quality, it probably was the hardest in terms of getting any kind of emotional range out of it.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
Very cool. Do you believe that Batman is actually Bruce Wayne's real alter ego instead of the other way around? Like,
Yes.
yes?
No. I think Bruce Wayne is the alter ego.
Bruce Wayne is the alter ego.
Yeah. I think Batman
is the real.
Batman is who
really him.
he has become because of the tragedy of his youth. The way he dealt with that was by going into this other world. And that's what he became, this avenger. So to me, the alter ego is when he puts on his suit to face the world, the business suit. That's the suit he puts on. When he's in the cave, in the cape and cowl, that's where he's most comfortable.
Yeah.
To me.
That's how I felt as
think
well.
I-
We
yeah.
wanted to get your opinion on that as well,
Yeah.
because we know a lot of fans, Batman is the man.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely been my take on it.
That's really interesting. Now there were so many wonderful episodes throughout all seasons of Batman Beyond, including the crossovers, in Static Shock, Justice League, etc. And for me personally, my two favorite episodes were Out of the Past in season 3 of Batman Beyond, and the crossover epilogue. Can you tell us a little bit about those two episodes?
Oh gosh.
I could give you a fresh.
Yeah, you'd have to freshen
Out
my
of the
memory.
Past.
I've done so many.
Out of the Past was, and Logan just watched it while we were waiting. It's where Bruce Wayne becomes young again through Talia. Talia comes back to Gotham City. Bruce is sort of going through a phase where he feels like he really can't do anything anymore because he's really old.
There was the singing in the beginning. There's the episode with the singing.
Oh yes,
in the
beginning
yeah.
it's where you.
Am I Blue? Is that where I sing Am I Blue? No, that
that's
was
Justin
with
Lee.
that was Justice.
Yeah, in Batman Beyond you were singing the little play that they were basing off.
Oh
that
right.
Batman play.
They
Oh
used to
right,
sing,
when I
Superstitious
sing the
Cowardly
yeah.
Well, that was all based in that same episode, and Bruce Wayne's young. He becomes young again. And,
Oh sure.
The whole reveal of what Talia really is.
Right.
So what did you think
It's
of
just-
that when you read it on the script? And oh my gosh, Bruce Wayne becomes young again.
Yeah, I know. It's part of it is the writers trying to keep things interesting for themselves. How do you, how many different situations can you get in over so many years? And I think that happens to all serial shows, all episodic shows, is how do you keep it interesting and real without getting, completely ridiculous?
Yeah.
So that I thought was a great idea, a twist
Yeah.
to have him go backwards like that.
Yeah.
And it's always a challenge for me whenever they stretch the character that way.
Yeah.
So it's fun for me.
Okay, and then Epilogue was the Justice League episode where they finally conclude the Batman Beyond story. So we see Terry as an adult. He's taking the mantle of Batman, and Bruce is really, really old in that, and that's when we discover... I'm sorry, I got to spoil it for you. But that's when we discover that Bruce Wayne is actually Terry McGinnis'
Terry's
father.
father. Oh. Terry, I am your father.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I loved it when they because we didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was decided as it was being written, as it evolved. That was not known in the course of recording that show.
Okay.
Or I didn't know, and I don't know if the writers knew, but I certainly didn't know.
Well, it was cool because you got to play in super old Bruce Wayne.
Super
Like,
old.
you can't get any older than that.
I know.
And now I have to
Yeah.
see that, guys. Thanks.
You
They're just
do.
gonna watch it for the next week. Okay, well, his friend and your true #1 fan, Ernesto from Puerto Rico, asks, "What are your thoughts on Ben Affleck being cast as the new Batman?" And
I think people should reserve judgment. He's
That's-
a really, really wonderful actor.
I agree.
There's a reason he has such a terrific career, is because he's very talented. And, it's so frustrating to actors because we're always told to dare to fail. That's
Yes.
the only way you can create anything interesting is if you risk. And the only way you can risk is if you risk failure. But the second you stumble, everyone piles on you, you know?
Yeah.
So Ben Affleck has done a couple of things early on that people didn't like, so everyone piles on him now.
Yeah.
Well, he's also, you know, an incredible actor. He's also done wonderful things.
Yeah, I agree.
So, you know, I think he's probably going to be great. So we'll see.
Interesting.
I'm holding on hope as well. I think he can do it. I think he can do a really good
I
job.
think so too, and they know what they're doing.
They know what they're
They
doing.
know what
Yeah.
they're doing. Now we obviously know that your most recent work has been in the Arkham series game.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit of your involvement in that, and do you really think the Joker died? You know, do you really think he's dead?
Oh,
in
he's
that
dead.
series? Yeah.
I was shocked.
Shoot.
I was really shocked.
I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe it.
No.
But anyway,
But how'd they like approach it to you? Like, did they have? From
they
the
didn't.
very
They
beginning?
didn't.
No.
They just.
Said,
I
"Hey."
just read it. And I was like, what? Is this a misprint? I mean, but it was great doing that stuff to the games. It's very, very hard to record them. It's not a lot of fun to record them. It's really kind of grueling work.
Okay.
But the result is so cool that, you know, it makes it worthwhile when you see the result and how cool it is, and the audience reacts so well to it. And the graphics are so beautiful, and they're so beautiful to interact with.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual job of recording it, because think about it, you're recording every possible variation depending on how the person's playing the game.
Yeah.
So I'm doing every line individually, alone in a booth, over and 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 over. And they want, you know, 3 different takes of each one, and then 4 different versions of each take, and it just it's really mind bending. After a while, you kind of forget how to talk. But and the challenge for me is keeping it Batman, you know, keeping it real through the whole thing.
Right.
But the result is so great that it makes it worthwhile.
Okay, well, then, yeah, that's good. I mean, you've definitely shown your work as well as the rest of the actors.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so this kind of wraps up our interview with Batman himself. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Make sure to follow Mr. Conroy on Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Real Kevin Conroy.
Real Kevin
Kevin
Conroy.
Conroy.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care.
See you guys.
See you.